right, continuing with 2016, we're starting with question number 27 right here. All right, and Tristan's here with me. He's going to be helping me out. All right, and I'm going to give a little test here. When I say f of x, he says that just simply means y. Y equals, there you go. By the way, anytime you see f of x, don't get intimidated. Okay, they're just using what's called function notation. That's right. All right, so anytime you guys see function notation, do not be intimidated. It just means y equals, okay? So if I say f of 1, what am I plugging in for x? I'm plugging in a 1. If I say f of 4, what am I plugging in for x? I'm plugging in a 4. But this one doesn't say that. It says what? That's right, we're saying, what is f of -8? What the heck is that equal to? All right, that's what we're trying to figure out. So let's write down our function. Here we go. So if f of x equals, look up here, what's it equal to? 6, open parentheses, 1 minus x. If it says, hey, what's f of not 8, but what's f of -8? You're like, well, that's easy. Because all I'm going to do, Johnny, all I'm going to do is right here for x. What am I plugging in, Johnny? I know you're going to put Johnny. It sounds cool. What? That's right, -8. Ooh, I got a negative and a, which makes it a, that's right. So did we get 1? Sorry. For those of you who are like, what did you just do? It's 1 plus 8, which gets me a, and 6 times 9? Boom, that's your answer. Now, what would you have to do on the bubble sheet? You have to bubble in a what? A 5 and a 4, and make sure you leave it positive. Otherwise, you get it wrong. Okay, so if that's too complicated for you, it's okay. You've got to grab the calculator. You hit y equals. You type in, ooh, just pretend that was there. 6 parentheses 1 minus x, which was our function, right? Then we're going to do what? Check the old table. Second graph, check the table at -8, which y value? Boom, you're done. All right, so moving on from there, let's go down to a little bit more difficult problem. So that's called function notation. All you're having to do is evaluate what's the y value when x is -8. So moving on down. Ooh, you've got some cylindrical rings. Okay, so I'm just going to keep it like right here. It says, a toy is made up of cylindrical rings stacked on a base. I kind of remember a toy like this. You know, like stack them in order as a little kid. All right. The diameter of ring 1 is 87% of the diameter of the base. 87%. So what's happening? Over time, what's happening to the diameter? It's getting smaller by what? 87%. Okay? All right, so, by the way, here's how you kind of figure stuff out. All right, let's just make a little table. Let's make an x and a y. All right, so here, the base. What does it say the base is actually equal? What's the diameter? Oh, right here it says the diameter of the base is what? 5 inches. So listen, at the very beginning, all right, you're at what? You're at 5. Okay? So like that's the base. Okay? All right. But then you put the first ring on. What's the next one? It's going to go down what? It's going to go down 87% of it. So how do you do that? You take 0.87 and you multiply it to 5. So let's do that. Ready? 5 times what? 0.87, right? What do you get? 4.35. So 4.35. All right. So it's the first, that ring right there is going to be at 4. That's going to be 4.35. All right. Then the second ring is going to be 87% of that. So what do I have to do? Got to take 4.35 and multiply by what? 0.87. Ooh, what's the next ring? 3.78. So ring 2 is going to be what? 3.78. So you see how it just keeps going down by what? You're going down by 87%. How do you write that as a decimal? 0.87. So that's basically what's happening. We have to figure out which function can be used to find the diameter between where r is what? Between 1 and 7. So let's kind of look at our answers. Look at our answers. We'll make a lot more sense. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. Check it out. These all mean y equals. Okay? So instead of an r, what I want you to do is I want you to change everything where there's an r. I want you to change it to an x. D of r is y equals. Changing it to y in terms of x. Now this is an exponential function. Let me explain to you what an exponential function is, right? Y equals a times b to the power of x. What I want you to understand, in the exponential function, I'll write the word exponential. You know how to spell it. Exponential. Okay? An exponential function is either going to have what's called a growth rate, or it's going to be a decay rate, or like a decay factor. What's happening in ours? It's not growing, it's decaying, it's getting smaller, right? So what's our factor that's being multiplied to it every single time? 0.87. The a value, that's what's called your initial value. Okay? What did we initially start at? We started with a 5. So the diameter started at 5, and every single time we multiplied it by 0.87. And that's going to be raised to the power of x. So our function is this. Y equals 5. That's what it started at. It's being multiplied by a decay factor of 0.87 to the power of x. Now, our answer is going to be answer choice F. So that gives us our initial diameter. It gives us our decay rate that matches it, and this is to the power of r. Now, let me show you how to plug this in the calculator so you know that F is the correct answer choice. So here we go. Going to y equals. Going to type in a 5. Going to open up the parentheses, type in 0.87, close it. I'm going to raise that sucker to the power of x, and then I'm going to check the table. So I'm going to go down here. I don't know if you remember at the very beginning, okay? At the very beginning, what did we start at? We started at what? We started where the diameter was a 5. And then, if you remember, we go back. Maybe you can go back. And the next number was what? And then the next one was a 3.2. You see the pattern? 4.35, 3.78. It keeps. These are all right now. These are all going down. Every single one is going down by 0.87 or 87%. Okay? This is the only one that works. Okay? If you did all the other ones, let me show you. Let's go back to the problem real quick. Go back real quick. Oh, not that one. Oh, you see that 1.87? X minus 5? Look what happens when you type that in. I'll just clear this out. 0.87, open parentheses, x minus 5. Look at your table. Do these answers even make sense? They don't even make sense. So, just hey, if you remember, these are all, you can all change them to what? Y equals, if you know that once again, these are in function notations. So wherever you see d of r, d of r, d of r, what do you replace that with? You replace it with y. And then you replace anything where there's an r, you replace it with an x. Okay? Now this is a growth factor. So you'll notice that if this is saying it starts out with 0.87 and everything gets multiplied by 5. So this is growth. This is a growth factor. Okay? So I'll stop talking about that one. Okay? Moving on down. Ooh, what are the solutions to this? Now, I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. I'm going to show you how to do it by hand, and then I'm going to show you how to use Desmos to solve it. Okay? So, the first thing I would do to do this by hand is I would divide both sides by the number 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And what are you left with? X minus 7 squared equals 32 divided by 2, which is 16. Okay, all we're doing is figure out what number, minus 7, when you square it, gives me to a 16. So these are the answer choices, okay? But, here's what you're still working by hand, all right? In order to get rid of something squared, all you got to do is take the square root. Now, This actually, when you're trying to solve a quadratic, when it's being squared, you take the square root of both sides. Technically, the answer is going to be plus or minus a 4. You're like, wait a second, what the heck are you talking about? Because what's negative 4 times negative 4? A positive, and a 4 times 4 is also a. That's why you have to do a plus or a minus. So we're going to break this into 2 equations. One of them is x minus 7 equals 4. And the other equation is x minus 7 equals a negative 4. So x minus 7 can equal a positive 4 or it can equal a. Alright, let me do one step. And I'll go check that, see what my wife is saying. Alright. Alright, so here we go. That zeroes out. What's 4 plus 7? 11. And negative 4 plus 7 is 3. So what are my 2 answers? An 11 and a 3. Alright, so my solution set would be a 3, comma, and 11. Also known as x equals 3. Yeah. So what is our final answer by hand? Our final answer is C. Now we're going to use Desmos right now and check this out. Okay? It's going to be pretty. Alright, so how do we use Desmos to help us solve this? Here it says 2 parentheses x minus 7 squared. So we're going to go to Desmos. And you're going to go here. And you're going to type in, get your little keyboard here, you're going to type in 2. You're going to open up the parentheses. You're going to type in x minus 7. And you're going to close that parentheses. And what do? You're going to square it. And then what are you going to do over here? What is it equal to? What number? What number? Equal to what? A 32. Right? All right? Check it out. Now watch this. I'm going to go over here. Just going to keep going up and up. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Oh, wait. Here's what you got to do. Bummer. Okay, fine. You got to hit y equals 32. There you go. And over here, this one you didn't have to, but it's probably best to do this as well. Just to put a y equals that. Okay? So put y equals and y equals. Now check this out. Check it out. What number is that? What number is that? Well, our answers are 3 and then 11, which means when you plug in a 3, what do you get? 32. When you plug in 11, what do you get? 32. That's your answer. 3 and 3 and 11. Using decimals. Pretty cool, huh? Mm-hmm. Alright. Let's keep on moving. Go here. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Moving on down. Okay, number 30. You have 30? Oh, you take it. Alright. Total cost in dollars to buy uniforms for the players on a volleyball team can be found using this function. So anytime there's a function, what I always do is I would write down the function. C equals 39. Oh, not 39. It's important to write down the correct function. Plus 6.25. This is a linear function. It says U is the number of uniforms. Right here. U equals uniforms, not to be confused with unicorns. Okay. If there are at least how many players? 8, but not more than. Alright, so we got to be. What do our players have to be? Between 8 and 12. So here's what we got to put players. Go down here and put players. Alright, I can have. Can you have 8? Sure. Can you have 9? Yep. 10? Yep. 11? Yep. Can you have 12? That's the max, right? So this is the maximum number of players, and that's the minimum if you're looking at least 8, but not more. What is the, what's it asking for? What's the domain? Now, something you need to understand is the difference between domain and range. Domain is dealing with all of your x values, range is dealing with all of your y values. Okay? Now, this is the question you have to ask. Does the cost depend on the players, or do the players depend on the cost? The cost depends on how many what? Players. And what do players require? Players require uniforms, right? So players require uniforms. So by the way, the cost, that is the range of the function. The uniforms represents the domain. So the domain, write down on your paper, uniforms, range, write down cost. All right? What numbers can you plug in for u? What numbers? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This right here, everybody, even though it's written slanted, okay? I know, it's not perfect, it's okay. But this right here, that represents your domain. That's why the answer is H. Why is it not 0 to 12? Well, because technically, you can only have integers, positive integers. You can only have positive integers for uniforms. You can't have 1.5 or 2.5 or 3.75 uniforms. You either have 8 uniforms or you have 12. It's 8 to 12 because it says at least 8 but not more than 12. By the way, just so you know, you guys see the range? Answer choice J. That would be the range of the function. 8 uniforms if I plug it in. Alright? I'm going to show you guys, just so you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put it in terms of y and x. Check this out. This is the last thing we're going to do on this problem. So watch this. If I change this, put y equals 34.95x plus 6.25. Here we go. If y equals, type in 34.95 x plus 6.25. Now check it out. I hit second window. I'm going to start my table at 8. You see that right there? 285, then it goes to 320, all the way here. So what do all of these numbers are your domain, these numbers are your range. And if you see it, you'll see. There they are. There's all these numbers right there. So if it said, by the way, I do the exact same problem, keep everything the exact same, change one word. What is the range of the function for the situation? Then the answer would change from H to J. Alright. I know that's a lot, but I want you guys to understand. They can ask you about domain. They can ask you about range. Okay, here we go. Number 31. Now they gave you a formula here. It says a circle has a radius of this amount. The area of the circle can be used to find. Find a circle is always pi times the radius squared. It says, what is the area of this circle in square centimeters? So we're going to, by the way, whenever they give you a formula, here's a hint. Use it. Whenever they give you a formula, use it. Okay? Pi r squared. Now, did they give us the radius? See the radius anywhere? I see it right there. So what are we going to do with this? We're going to take it and we're going to plug it in right here. Right there. So how are you going to do that? Here's how it works. Ready? We're going to find the radius. Find the area right now. Area equals pi, open parentheses, 6x to the 9th, y to the 5th. And what are we going to do it? We're going to square it. Now, this is where students need to understand, what does it mean to actually square a number? To square a number means you're taking the number and you are multiplying it by itself. That's not a very good number. Alright? That's what it means. You're multiplying it by itself. Now, what is 9? You're allowed to multiply those together. So that's going to get you to the power of what? 9 times 2 is, this is the only, by the way, this is the only time you can do what's called multiply your power. The power to a power. A power to a power, you multiply. This is the difference. I want you guys to see something real quick. If I say x to the 6 squared, that's going to be x to the 12. But if I say, what is x to the 6 times x squared, that's actually x to the power of 8. In this situation, you add them. This is the only situation where you multiply. So you need to know the difference between when do I multiply and when do I add. Because a lot of students like to just add it no matter what. Now, here, what can we do? We can add the 9's together, and what do we get? We get x to the power of 18. Here, we can add them together and get y to the 10. But here, we would need to do a power to a power. That's when you multiply. Okay? Now, what's hold on? What's 6 times 6? No, that's 6 plus 6. 6 times 6 is 36. What is 6 squared? If I said, hey, what's 6 squared? That's 36, because that means 6 times 6. So this is where I want to go over one more time. Here we go. So 6 squared is 36. That means it's 6 times 6. X to the power of 9, when you square it, is saying x to the power of 18. Because you're doing a power to a power, you're allowed to multiply. You have y to the 5th squared, you're allowed to multiply those together to get you y to the 10th. Now, what I was trying to show you is this. What does this number squared actually mean? It means you're taking this number and multiplying it to itself. Just how many times? Just 2 times. And 6 times 6 is 36. 9 plus 9, so that follows this pattern of 2, is 18, and 5 plus 5 is 10. Now what am I going to stick right next to it? I'm going to stick a pi right next to it, because I love pi. Especially apple blackberry. That's all we're talking about. So where are we at? Oh, they put the pi over here. So it's 36 pi x to the power of 18 y to the 10. The answer choice B. If you accidentally add the 6's together, look what it gets you. It gets you answer choice A. Okay? If you add those together, look what it gets you. It gets you to the power of 11. You got to be careful. So what do you need to know the difference between? When do you multiply and when do you add? This is called the power property. This is called the product property. Okay? All right. Almost done. Oh, this is going to be easy. Because you know what? This one, we're going to find the solution. You see what it says? Which graph can be used to find the solution to the system of equations below? See that right there? We have what? 2x plus y equals negative 4. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to close it out. Close it out. Type it in. 2x plus y equals negative 4. All right, there's one of them. And what's the next one? Let's go back. Oh, not that one. Negative 3y, right? Negative 3y equals 2x plus. All right, here we go. So we go over here. Negative 3y equals 2x plus 12. Okay. Hey, where's that solution? Added what? 0 and x. So we got to find two lines that have a negative slope. That cross that is 0 and negative 4. I'm zooming in. There we go. That's what we're looking for. All right, let's go back to our problem. All right. You think you found it? Huh? You think you did, huh? Oh, I'm finding C 0 negative 4 right there. So what's the answer? Now that's, by the way, we really didn't do it by hand, did we? We just typed it into decimals. Now let me explain it. I'm gonna show you something by hand for those of you who are like, man, but you can't do it by hand. Wait a second. Check this out. We're going to use the cover-up method. What does that say? Y equals negative, which means our y-intercept is at right there. I'm going to cover up the other one. Here we go. What do you see there? 2x equals negative 4. Divide both sides by 2. What's x equal? If I say 2x equals negative 4, and I say y equals negative 4, what did we find first? We found our y-intercept. Here, what are we finding? We're finding our x-intercept. Divide both sides by 2. What does x equal? Negative 2. Look where our x-intercept's at. Negative 2. There's a y-intercept. There's our x-intercept. What would we have to do on this one? We'd have to divide everything by what number? Negative 3. And what does that change this one to? Slope-intercept form. So you get y equals negative 2/3 x minus a 4. What's my slope? Negative 2/3. What's my y-intercept? Negative 4. And here we go. You see that point right there? There's -4. What does this line do? Does it go down 2 and over 3? It does. So this is, by the way, this is an educational video, so I want you to understand the difference between what is a slope. It goes down 2 units and over 3. How do you interpret slope from left to right? Down 2 over 2, down 2 over 2, down 2 and over 3. So that's how you can do it by hand to make sure that you grab those 2 lines properly. What's the first way? Cover it up. Cover up 1. We're basically, what are we doing? We're making x equal to 0. You get y equals -4. Cover up the other one. Divide both sides by 2. X equals -2. We plot the what? The x-intercept and the y-intercept. But by the way, for those who don't, what's the answer? The answer is okay. All right. Let's check this out. It says, which inequality describes all the solutions to 5 parentheses x minus 3 minus x is less than this -2x plus 6. All right, here we go. All right, so number 33, we're going to do it by hand, and we're going to do it using decimals. The first thing you would do by hand is you would multiply 5 times 3, which is 15. 5 times -x, which is -5x, is less than -2x plus 6. Now here's what I would do. We got to get all of the x's on one side and all the numbers on the other. So my suggestion is to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to add a 5x to this side. I'm going to add a 5x to this side. Okay, that's not the only way to do it. That's the way I'm doing it. And if we add those together, we get a total of 3x's. And that take away a 6. Take away a 6. That zeroes out. 15 minus 6 is 9. That zeroes out. Bring it down. What do we have left? We have 9 is less than 3x. And this is where you have to get a little, use your imagination. I'm going to take this. I'm going to rotate it. Okay? Imagine I'm just grabbing it and I'm rotating everything. See how the mouth is opening up towards the 3x? So 3x is actually greater than 9. When you divide both sides by 3, you get x is greater than 3, which is answer choice B. Okay? So you got to be able to do what? Take this and do what with it? Be able to just rotate it. And when you rotate it, you got to keep that mouth going of the inequality going towards it. Okay? Now, watch what we do in decimals. So we're going to go, oh, that's not decimals. That's decimals. Okay, we're going to clear that out. Clear that out. Tell me which type in. What do we have? We have a 5 parentheses. All right, parentheses 3 minus x. Okay. Close parentheses. And then we have a less than symbol. And then what was the other one? -2x plus 6. Now, what's happening here? Everything to the right of the what? To the right of the 3 is being shaded. So if you're using Desmos, you have to know, here's what you have to know. You have to know that all of your x values, right here, all of your x values are greater than 3. All of these x values that are shaded, which way are they going? They're going to the right. They're getting what? They're not getting smaller, they're getting bigger. So you have to know how to interpret that dotted line if you're using decimals. This means x is greater than 3. Okay? If it was shaded over here, it would be x is less than 3. Alright? And that's all we're going to do for today. Have a wonderful day.